Zhou Ye didn't enter the industry through the back door. She smashed the front door open. In 2019, while still a student at the Beijing Film Academy, she landed the role of Wei Lai in the Oscar-nominated film Better Days. She didn't play the victim. She played the terrifying, cold-blooded bully. With her angelic face and demonic eyes, Zhou Ye created a villain so haunting that the entire nation of China took notice. She wasn't just another pretty girl. She was a theatrical force. The success of Better Days gave her a high-end label immediately. Unlike other young stars who start with sugary sweet idol dramas, Zhou Ye was branded as a cinema face. She became the pride of Hesong Media, mentored by the legendary Li Bingbing. The industry saw her as the golden girl, the one who possessed both the visual elegance of a 90s star and the raw talent of a modern actress. For a moment, it seemed like Zhou Ye was untouchable, destined to bypass the traffic phase and go straight to the Hall of Fame. However, first impression trap. By playing a character so cold and detached so perfectly, the public began to blur the lines between Wei Lai and Zhou Ye. People expected her to be a serious, disciplined artist. They didn't realize that the cold princess persona was a double-edged sword. While it made her look sophisticated on the red carpet, it also set the stage for a massive personality clash with the public when the cameras weren't rolling. She was a star born from a masterpiece, but maintaining that masterpiece standard was about to become her biggest struggle. Zhou Ye is a visual anomaly. On the covers of Harper's Bazaar or Elle, she is the goddess of coldness. A high-fashion icon whose face can sell millions in luxury goods. Her bone structure is a gift to cinematographers. She has that rare, high-end face that looks expensive even in a simple white tee. But the moment she transitions from still photos to moving dramas, the magic begins to crumble. This is the phenomenon netizens call facial features flying all over the place. The tragedy began with her transition to TV dramas like Word of Honor and Back from the Brink. While her beauty remained undisputed in posters, her acting became a target for ridicule. When Zhou Ye tries to express high-energy emotions, joy, anger, or intense grief, her facial control vanishes. Her mouth opens too wide, her eyes lose focus, and her expressions become so exaggerated that they verge on cringe. Critics and audiences alike were shocked. How could the girl who played the subtle, terrifying villain in Better Days become so theatrical and wooden on the small screen? But even as her acting was being torn apart, her fashion career soared. She became the darling of brands like Tiffany & Company and Dior. This created a bizarre paradox. Zhou Ye was winning at fashion weeks while failing at film festivals. The industry began to ask, is she an actress who happens to be a model or a model who is desperately trying to be an actress? She was trapped between the prestige of her cinema face and the reality of her acting disaster, proving that in Cbiz, looking like a star and performing like one are two very different battles. In June 2024, at the Weibo Movie Night, Zhou Ye faced her biggest crisis yet. As she walked through the backstage area, a reporter from CCTV6, China's national movie channel, called out her name for a quick greeting and a close-up shot. While other stars smiled and interacted warmly, Zhou Ye did the unthinkable. She turned her head away, completely ignored the camera, and walked past with a cold, stony expression. In an industry where face is everything, snubbing the national broadcaster was equivalent to career suicide. The footage went viral instantly. Netizens were outraged, calling her arrogant and unprofessional. The phrase "the princess disease" began to trend, as critics pointed out that even veteran superstars wouldn't dare treat a CCTV reporter with such disrespect. The controversy was so intense that it overshadowed her recent film promotions. This wasn't just about uncontrolled facial features anymore. It was about a perceived lack of character. The cold princess persona, which worked so well on magazine covers, had finally backfired in the harshest way possible. CCTV6 didn't stay silent. They posted the raw footage on their official social media, essentially calling out her behavior. For a rising star in China, being on the wrong side of official media is a nightmare. Zhou Ye's team went into a panic, launching an emergency PR campaign to humanize her. But the damage was done. The public saw a side of her that beauty couldn't hide, a coldness that felt less like high fashion and more like high arrogance. While her cinema face is a blessing that most actresses would die for, her transition to the small screen revealed a haunting truth. Zhou Ye is a victim of her own beauty. The biggest issue with her performance, which has become a goldmine for internet trolls, is the phenomenon netizens call uncontrolled facial features. In her attempt to appear lively or cute in historical dramas like Word of Honor or Back from the Brink, Zhou Ye loses all facial composure. Her eyebrows, eyes, and mouth seem to move in completely different directions, shattering the goddess image her fans adore. In magazines, the tragedy of her acting is the overacting syndrome. In emotional scenes, instead of tapping into internal depth, she relies on loud shouting, wide-eyed stares, and exaggerated pouting. It's as if she's trying to convince the audience she's feeling something by moving every muscle in her face at once. This creates a massive visual gap. She looks like $1 million in a still poster, but the moment she starts acting, she becomes a walking meme. Critics argue that Zhou Ye doesn't know how to limit her beauty. She doesn't understand that on a high-definition TV screen, less is often more. Her performance in Word of Honor as Gu Xiang was a perfect example. Fans loved the character's spirit, but the cringe-worthy moments of overacting were impossible to ignore. For many viewers, watching Zhou Ye act is an exhausting experience because of the lack of subtlety. She is like a Ferrari that doesn't know how to stay in its lane. She has the engine of a star, but she's completely out of control when it comes to the technical craft of acting. Without mastering her facial expressions, she risks being remembered not as an actress, but as a static beauty who failed the test of motion. The fallout from the CCTV6 incident was a radioactive disaster for Zhou Ye's Cool Girl brand. In the brutal world of Cbiz, once the national media labels you arrogant, the doors to high-level government projects and major sponsorships begin to slam shut. Her team at Hesong Media knew they couldn't just apologize. They had to reprogram her. Enter the Candy Redemption, a PR campaign so meticulously staged it felt like a scene from a scripted drama. Just days after the cold snub, Zhou Ye appeared at a public event, but the Ice Queen had been replaced by a girl with a permanent, almost hauntingly bright smile. She was seen carrying a literal bag of candies, approaching the very reporters she had previously ignored with the enthusiasm of a long-lost friend. She bowed, she giggled, she made eye contact, and she handed out sweets as if her life depended on it. It was a masterclass in damage control, but for the observant audience it was deeply uncomfortable. Netizens quickly pointed out the artificial sweetness. Her smile was wide, but her eyes remained tired and guarded. The uncontrolled facial features they mocked in her dramas were now being used to perform kindness. By pivoting so drastically from high-end arrogance to desperate friendliness, Zhou Ye accidentally confirmed the public's worst fear, that her entire persona is a construct. She didn't learn humility. She learned how to play a part to save her paycheck. While the candy strategy successfully calmed the angry headlines and satisfied the higher-ups, it left her with a reputation for being plastic. She survived the blacklist, but she entered a new kind of prison, one where she can never let her guard down again, lest the world sees the real Zhou Ye hiding behind the sugar coating. As we look toward the horizon of 2026, Zhou Ye stands at the most dangerous crossroads of her career. She is no longer the fresh face of better days. Nor is she a newcomer who can hide behind the excuse of inexperience. She is a veteran of scandals, a queen of the red carpet, and a question mark on the screen. The industry's fascination with her high-end face is reaching its expiration date. The audience is no longer satisfied with just looking at a visual god. They are demanding a soul. The path to redemption for the cold princess requires a brutal deconstruction of her brand. To become a true Dehua, great actress, like her mentor Li Bingbing, Zhou Ye must stop relying on her management's candy PR and start proving her worth in the acting room. She has the raw materials, the cinematic features, and the elite backing, but she lacks the artistic discipline to control her craft. If she continues to let her facial features fly in every drama, she will be relegated to the traffic wasteland, a place where beautiful stars go when they fail to grow. The ultimate lesson of Zhou Ye's story is that beauty is a loan, but reputation is an investment. She reached the top with a single cold stare in a movie, but she almost lost it all with a single cold stare in real life. Whether she becomes the next legend of Chinese cinema or just another pretty tragedy who couldn't handle the heat depends on her next move. The era of the protected princess is over. Now, she must decide if she wants to be a product of the system, or an artist who commands respect through more than just a bag of candy and a luxury contract.